Welcome to Vartalapa or Conversation, a podcast born from countless conversations that had to become more than just passing thoughts. I'm Sri Vidya Venkatasubramanya, founder and executive director of the Rave Cultural Foundation, where we bring the richness of traditional Indian performing arts. This limited podcast series delves into the values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, transforming them from concepts into actions we live by. Through stories, shared experiences, and discussions with friends and experts from the community, we explore the intricate world of running an arts and culture-based nonprofit. By presenting our worldview on various topics related to our mission and work, we hope to inspire you to learn more about us and join us in our mission to bring people together and make a difference in the world we live in. Our mission at Rave Cultural Foundation is to share and celebrate traditional Indian performing arts with the Northwest Arkansas community and beyond. Through real-world experiences, inspiring performances, community showcases, classes, food, or jam sessions, the Rave Cultural Foundation sponsors events, provides education, and offers training in the arts and culture of India. I hope that Rave will leave its impact on our community by normalizing diversity. Awesome! Today we are back with another episode of Vartalapa, and today we are talking to some brand new board members of Rave Cultural Foundation, barely a year or so old. Yes, 2 years. Has it been 2 years?
That's
I can't believe it.
I'm not new.
No, you're still new.
I'm the new guy.
Yeah. So we are so excited to have you all here. Tim, Prathap, and Sapna, welcome to
Thank
our
you.
podcast today. And let me just have you all introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tim Malone. I live in the Northwest Arkansas area. I am a cybersecurity leader at one of our large corporations that we have here. I've lived in the area for most of my life, so I'm kind of a local presence here.
Hi everyone, my name is Prathap. I moved Northwest Arkansas in 2020. I work as a software test engineer for Intermountain Healthcare, which is Utah-based, and I'm here from past 4 years.
Awesome.
And my name is Sapna Ramachandran. I have lived in Bentonville for about 10 years now. Been on the Rave board for 2 years, like I said earlier. And I work for a company called Kitestring Technical Services, and I'm the head of people there. And my role is really to be a part of the community, social responsibility, and just make sure our employees are well engaged and know and understand the art of giving back to the community.
Amazing. Thank you. So really appreciate all of you coming here today, and also the time you give Rave, right? I mean, you guys give a lot of time for us. So let me start. I popped the question, as they say, and you all said yes. So I'm very curious, why did you say yes? Like what made you go? Because I've had a lot of no's. I've had a lot of people say, no, Vidya, no, I'm not sure. I don't think that's a good fit for me or whatever. So what made each one of you say yes? I'm just looking at all.
I'm fine to start. I think for me, I do have some previous board experience with another nonprofit. And so I knew that I enjoyed this type of work and helping the community. And I will say that Srividya is very persuasive. And it's hard to... I'm surprised people have said no to you.
Right.
Oh, I've had people say no.
So it's been about 2 months for me. I forgot to mention that in my intro. But it's just seeing the passion that you have, that you're bringing to this, just made me want to be a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, wow. I need to talk to you guys more often.
Yeah. When I moved here, I saw it is a COVID time. I saw the place is so small and people are disconnected a little bit. And I came from Salt Lake City. I was into multiple associations, organizations. I had a couple of roles and I volunteered across, I went to Olympics also for volunteering.
Wow.
So in that aspect, I approached Srividya for conducting and organizing some event. From there, I started seeing Rave and being a part of it. So
we met at the had you come for the open house? Is that
Yes,
for the grand opening,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Of
yes.
Kifa, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So then I thought, okay, we can bring more community and bring more culture, arts, everything to the society. That's made me to become a part.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
In my case, I had heard about Rave for a very long time, but in my head, I was like, I not just as a board member, but even to be involved as a normal resident of the area, I was like, I don't think I'm talented enough in any way, arts or singing or dancing or music or instruments. I was my son is great. My husband has a keen sense of music, but I personally, that's not the art that I have grown up on. So it was very hard for me to even understand why Srividya would approach me to do something like this. And like Tim said, I have had prior experience being on boards. So giving back in so many different ways, be it through skills and expertise, being through your knowledge or the diversity of thought that you bring to the table in different ways. I was hoping that is a role of a board member. But I did not know for a nonprofit like Rave, how am I going to contribute? But like you said, it's very hard to say no to her passion. When you see her passion and a fire, it's so contagious. You're like, yes,
Let's do it.
let's do it. And after talking to you, I think I kind of understood the deeper purpose of Rave, which is to be connected to your roots. And that kind of moved me. That was a big trigger for me to say yes.
Awesome. It's exactly, it's there are so many facets to an organization because anybody can put up an event.
Yeah.
You can just put up an event.
Yeah.
You just rent a place, get the mics and sound, whatever, lights.
Logistics can be taken care of.
That is the easy part. The hard part is sustaining that with meaning.
Yeah.
Yes.
To have a purpose to serve the community, not just, to serve a few,
Yeah.
but to serve the larger community and as wide as you can go. And that is where you start hitting a lot of roadblocks and that's where you start needing people. You need people, you need more mouths to speak, you need more hands to work and even if it is typing on the computer,
Yeah.
you need, because there's so
We
many.
need more blocks to bridge the gap.
And and especially if you're talking about sustaining the work, right? Like to continue doing it. For example, one of the things we right now struggle with, I don't know if you'll believe it, but we struggle with not having enough time to download reports and analyze them. We don't have time. Like the staff doesn't have time to do that because we are so busy doing all the other outreach work and we're a small organization.
Yeah.
So we don't even have time to do that, which we should be doing because, it has the history, of our growth and it has and it gives us a lot of information
Data,
about
right?
We'll
Much
become
data.
so big that we can start outsourcing all this work eventually. At some point.
So and that is where board members especially come into play because we need resources. It's not just about money. It's not just that we all need more money. It's about
Overseeing the task and getting what it is done.
Yeah. So everybody has a special
Skill.
superpower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I left my cape at home.
So let's talk a little bit more about those challenges, right? Yes, it's great. The passion is there. We joined, and now what? Quarterly meetings, and then Vidya keeps texting. What is this? Is this happening? Hey, can somebody come and pick up food or drop this off?
Yeah.
So how do you? Because all of you work full time somewhere. We have another podcast about volunteers, and we kind of had a similar discussion. But volunteers are just not as engaged in the organization as
Board members.
So how do you all manage? Like, how do you guys keep it going and not quitting on me and Rave.
You just came
Are we
in.
still doing it over?
You just came in, so probably you might not have much
To add
experience there because just been 2 months. I don't know. I'm just going to speak for you.
Please.
But I just share my experience. Yes, you're right. It's not easy at all. If you remember when you asked me, do you want to join the board? My first question was, what is the time commitment? That was my first question to you because, like I said, I have my hands in so many different cookie jars. It's really hard for me to keep a full-time job, be a mom, be a wife, and do all this. But I think the way I have seen in the last 2 years, Rave evolve. I think when I was just so brand new, we did the Crystal Bridges board retreat. And that was 2 full days, if I remember. Same like this time where we did a whole day retreat and the next day board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, it just like spiked up my energy because I was not expecting to like come in and just be so involved in helping create mission, vision, values and, try to see what our purpose is. And it was just so, what is the word? Like it just energized me completely. And it happened again this year and at a whole different level, with fundraising. And,
That's for another podcast. That particular discussion.
But I think it's not really a lot. Like time-wise, I think I've come and helped with the staff a little bit here and there. Yeah. I've had one-on-ones with the staff at different points. I've tried to come into chai time whenever I get a chance or any of our concerts whenever possible. But every single time I have come in, I have never felt like I was forced to be there or I was dragged to be there just because I have to check a box and show my face or show my presence. I have never felt like that. Nobody at Rave has made me feel like that. Every time I have felt valuable, wherever I have been in whichever event, I feel like my voice is heard, my presence is respected. So yeah, I've never seen it as a challenge really to spend my time or my efforts.
Good. I never thought about it that particular way, but thank you. That's good.
That's from from board members' perspective.
That's great feedback. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, that's wonderful. Good.
She covered a lot of topics. I mean,
which
like everybody faces.
She's a people's person,
and I didn't read the questions.
I told, right? Like that's what I do. So when you without anything, you just
I mean, I'm just speaking from my heart. That's all.
Adding to that, what I feel in Rave is like it's like a bigger family. Like if you can't able to make it, you can just say no. You don't need to hesitate, and there are always have the shoulders who can share and deal. So that is one thing which makes us to continue for long. If it is always there is a breaker to say no, then it is tough. But here we can say no and we can prioritize the things and take it up whenever you can and lead the way. That is another best which I can add it up.
But I want to point out, Prathap, that we are also able to accept the no's because we see you do things like all of you, it's not like every time you people say no, it's like you make it to certain things and then certain things you can't, and that's fine, and then that's where for us, that is when I say us, I just mean, the executive director, staff, the people who are working on the daily, implementation of the programming and everything like that. It's so nice, for us also to feel supported, because otherwise it's like every time you reach out and if everybody says no all the time, or about what I mean is like 80% of the time, if you're saying no, then that's also very discouraging, like, oh my gosh, why do we even have these people on the board? Kind of a thing. But you guys have always made it possible in a way that we have never felt that also, that, they didn't support us or they didn't show up for us or something. So that's That's
That's
reciprocated.
what it means. Right?
It's mutual.
Yeah. And everybody, I mean, like even when I started Rave, mom of 2 kids, running a small business and doing this also, and so one understands that base. Everybody has a family, and the non-profit is also part of that.
Yes.
In balance.
That's
and we do the max we can. All of us.
I've heard it
More
said
the merrier.
Yeah, I've heard it said, the work-life, home balance.
Yes.
Sometimes it's becoming a blend these days. And so I think one of the challenges that nonprofits have and being a board member, it's, again, connecting people to the superpower or to their special skill, to the need. I think there's no shortage of passion and want to learn and want to be a part of things. And that just can be one of those challenges. And it can be a fun challenge to connect the right resources, whether it's time or money or skill, with where, the nonprofit needs them the most.
Yeah.
And then I think that helps to blend in with a board member or an employee or an executive director into their life.
Right.
That work-life board blend that we're dealing with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So so let's continue talking a little bit more about what kind of work do all of you end up doing? Do you recommend this to others? Should others become board members? Not just at Rave, but at any
nonprofit.
I did a podcast once in which this guy, he asked me something about the nonprofit and everything, and I was saying that it's so challenging to start a nonprofit. Because you really don't know anything about running a nonprofit, and then when you start learning about all the rules and regulations and everything, and and then board members, I brought up, because it's not just Rave, it's like every nonprofit I know struggles with their board.
Yes.
It's just a natural thing, because, and we've discussed it ad nauseum, I think, in our meetings, and trying to find solutions for it also. And I made this joke. I said, you don't get board members who come and tell you, oh, my grandfather was a board member, my great-grandfather was a board member. I know exactly. I was born to be a board member.
Or nobody wakes up and says, when I grow up, I want to be a board member.
Exactly, right? So nobody, actually, even though there are books about board management and board governance and things like that. There are a lot of books and knowledge about all that. But when it comes to
execution, everything just changes.
When it comes to day-to-day life, because you don't find the the generational board members, because there are generational board members. There are families where generationally they've been, husbanding a non-profit or an endowment or a foundation or something like that. So it is challenging. It's very, to get into that mindset. And so let's continue to talk about more, what are these activities, that you are expected to do? Do you recommend it to others? Do you think, it's can we find a solution where the books are right? Where the theory is right? Because oftentimes in implementation, there are a lot of gaps. There are in the system. It's just an overall systemic gap, not particular to any particular... Gosh, I'm repeating my words, haven't I?
No, I think it's a good point. I think the books are important. I think having the foundation and framework for these things is good to have. You can't just, be completely unorganized and unprepared and expect to kind of come out with something good. So when you have the framework, you can build on that. And then to Prathap's point, being able to take the intricacies of a particular board, of a particular region that you live in, of individual board members' daily lives and their families and what they've got going on for work. That's where you start kind of building onto that framework in the right places and things like that. So I think it's a yes and. You do need the framework, but it's not a black and white, prescriptive, just follow steps 1 through 7, Shrividya, and it will be,
And repeat.
and you're good to go. Because otherwise, everybody would do this, right?
Right?
So
Yeah.
you do have to, build on that framework and make it your own.
Right.
Yeah.
Some points like books are always good, but real-time experiences changes each and every day. Every minute is dynamic. Like you need to be understanding the ecosystem, you need to be knowing the board members, and you need to know the core value of the organization. Like that is the one driven where all the
So
board
important.
members has to incline
Yeah.
to make more progress.
Right.
So if you have that core intention and if you follow the books or not, you can make it out.
Right.
And difference between board and volunteers is like volunteers, it's just task. Like, okay, A to B, done.
Right.
They don't need to think about what happens next, what are the pitfalls, what are the financial implications or any challenges. Nothing goes into their mind. Their mind, okay, come 9 to 5, done.
Right.
Do.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
as a board, it is like it's always carry forward. You always have in the mind what is happening.
Yeah.
Are we doing something? Are we making progress? So these are little things. And I recommend everybody to come and encourage not only Ravi, they can join any board
Yes, exactly.
and experience and learn, because this learnings is not easy. You can't learn anywhere.
Yes,
It is all
very
like
true.
it's all skills, people skills.
Yeah.
So you can just advance yourself and understand what needs to be done and take it progress.
Yes. Yes.
I
Very, very
think they
good
both
point.
answered it
Yeah.
well enough. But I think theory is on one side, right? Like there is only so much theoretically you can expect from a board. But again, it just comes down to the other secret ingredients of people, geographical location, purpose of the nonprofit, how the strength of the staff, the efficiency of the staff, how much funds you have, all that put together. I don't know why I keep going back to the funds, but
No, but it's more
It's
important.
important.
You know,
Right?
I have to share the story, okay? Because I really have to share the story. So when we first started, literally, budget was, we were just literally, Nandini was not there. Me, Satish, Gokul, Smita, all of us, it said, literally we just put down a list. Okay, these are the expenses.
Yeah.
These are the, ticket sales. Or so, because we didn't even know where to go and how to
Right. So
Yeah.
raise funds. We didn't even know that. So we literally, it was just like on
Yeah.
one sheet of paper. And then when we applied for our first grant, the first thing they asked for was a budget. We didn't know how to put a budget.
See, when you're asking for grants, that is when they expect,
Right,
what's the
right,
framework
yeah.
you have followed? And,
I mean, you
are
don't
just
have
doing
an
this willy-nilly?
experience with
Right.
grants, right? So
Right.
how would you know, right?
Yeah.
So that financial
Exactly.
part is very important.
That's so true. But when I did come in, like to your point, they were all the old veterans of Rave. And I was probably the first newbie that came in and felt like, oh, they all have been talking this for 5-6 years now. And I'm just, learning. And now I feel like a veteran after you both have come in. But from that time, when I came into the board, I was like, this board is not diverse at all. Because everybody looked the same, everybody had the same similar backgrounds, everybody thought in the same way. Everybody did not have exposure to other boards or anything outside. So now 2 years fast forward, it's a day and night, right? We have a variety of experiences. We have so much diversity on the team, from marketing, from Tom to your experience from the other nonprofit. With me bringing in and Prathap from this community standpoint, it's a very good, healthy board right now. And I'm really looking forward to doing more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, your last question. Yes, I would recommend anybody to join the Rave board or any board for that matter. But if anybody is interested and holding back, thinking like me that this is not something that I align with, you're wrong. You can come in. You don't have to sing or you don't have to perform, but you can contribute to the growth of art or to be attached to your roots in this way, by joining the board.
I think that's the best part, is that the board members are, on any board, but certainly for Rave, is that the board members are so loving and welcoming
Yeah.
of all of those new perspectives and experiences and cultures and all of that, right? We are very accepting, and for me personally, I know nothing about Indian dance and music and I love the food.
Yeah.
I love eating the food, right?
Yeah.
But being able to just learn from that. So if anyone is hesitant about joining a board, that's probably the best part about that, is that it's such a welcoming and supportive group that are going to help you learn what you need to learn. No one knows everything, right? No one has all the experience. And then you can give back by, saying, well, here's my experience in this particular area, even if it's not with a previous board.
Yeah.
So it's, can be a little bit scary to think about, but in reality, it's such a welcome, comfortable place to be.
And that's the true essence of diversity, right?
Yes.
Like you see, diversity is not just about race or a certain kind of people or something. Diversity is about different points of views, different opinions, different attitudes, and everything.
Perspectives.
And if we are trying to, because we do know of boards where literally they will have this one Asian or one black or one some, depending on what it is, whoever is going to add diversity to the
Exactly.
group.
I've been approached on different boards just because they want to check a box, and it's a group of white men, and we want a brown woman on the group, and that's why we want you. And the people have said that to me. Wow. And you just say no thank you, but and move on, right? But you don't want to be a board member to have a box checked.
Exactly. And to to what you're saying, Tim, if it's as much us offering that, for me to come and ask you, and as much for you also to accept. It works both ways.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. It's not because we can't solve that problem if either one of us is hesitant to even ask.
Right.
So and I find that a lot. I get a lot of when I talk to people and I talk to all sorts of people and when it's not about asking them to be on the board or anything, but even just I get asked, can I come to your event?
Yeah.
Is it appropriate?
Yeah.
Right? Is it okay?
There is a kind of a factor of almost intimidation is maybe not the right term, but sometimes you feel a little bit of that. Well, would I belong there? I'm a white guy.
Yeah.
Right? Would I be accepted there?
Yeah.
And so there is that kind of initial feeling of intimidation, and I think we're here to say, once you get kind of past that initial intimidation, there's really nothing to be intimidated about.
Exactly.
And this is such a welcoming, diverse group of people, and it's wonderful. So
and I just want to say to the volunteers or to people who might be potential board members eventually, that there is a fear of the unknown, right? Like there is something you don't know, you don't know what you don't know, right? And you have stereotypes around it. You have some prejudices around it. You might think that if you go there, you might be perceived differently. Or if you express interest to be on a board, you might be perceived differently. But to everybody that's listening, that is not the case. The more you come forward, we're sure everybody has the fear of the unknown. But if you are ready to shed that and come out and be curious to ask and to learn, we will come 10 steps forward to embrace you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Can confirm.
Yes.
Yes. I think we should bring this to an end on that note.
Okay.
Right? Because what a most beautiful message, right? It just takes one step, right? You come. Everyone takes one step, that's it, problem solved. We're all together then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. And yes, with that, we bring this little chit-chat, our Vartalapa, or conversation, to an end for today. And we'll meet again for another conversation.
Next board meeting.
Yes.
Are you sure?
You have to set that up.
And we will see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. that's a wrap for today's episode of Vartalapa. Thank you for joining us as we explored the world of nonprofits and the values that drive us. A huge thanks to our guests for their insights and stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Let's keep these important conversations alive and thriving. You can find our podcast of Vartalapa or Conversation on Spotify and our YouTube channel. Be sure to tune in, stay curious, stay connected, and join us next time on Vartalapa. Until then, keep making a difference in your world.